Mm-hmm. Yes. It's in 60 seconds. My name is Crystal Weed. This is for Dr. Stephen White's public speaking. I would like to first introduce my audience members. I have Tiffany Fortson. She is a friend and a fellow college student, as well as Mr. Wheat, which is my son. Okay. Um, a notorious tip for delivering public speeches is to imagine the audience in their underwear. Well, I don't believe this is effective to pass my speech class. Adults, college students, and professionals are often required to share information both informally and formally. As a nurse, I am required to provide patients and patients' families information on diagnoses, expectations, medications, and procedures and treatments. Using the general speech information tips provided by Dr. White will provide us with a base foundation and encourage us to have a positive experience in public speaking class, speech 101. Proper communication tips are provided for clear and professional correspondence. Um, in our speech tips, we are encouraged not to use informal language during emails. There's also a guide of expected response times to emails submitted to Dr. White. For example, any emails submitted after 4 p.m. will be responded to by 6 a.m. the next day. Also, there's communication related to the evaluation of speeches and assignments. Um, Information provided by your instructor will be typed next to your grade on our Angel Learning System. Uh, it is very discouraged to receive clarification on your assignments or any questions from other students. It is very encouraged to obtain your information from your information provided directly from your instructor. And also there are guidelines set up that if you do not obtain the understanding that you think you feel or need, there are guidelines as to how to obtain clarification directly from the instructor. Um, Also, guidelines of acceptable assignments are provided to ensure understanding of expectations. You are expected as a student to have the access to the required materials for this class, such as Windows 7 computer, internet access, and by experience I found out a webcam. Um, Also, there are penalties if you do specific things within your assignment. There are penalties for not underlining your main topics and your subjects within your written assignment or your summaries in your PowerPoint presentations. Also, there are penalties for um, there are also penalties for turning in late assignments. Late assignments will not be considered or graded. Um, missing assignments. If you miss more than 2 assignments, you will be dropped from the class. That is very informative, something that you may need to know. Grades are posted within 72 hours. If you do not receive a grade within 72 hours, then subsequently that usually means that your assignment was not received. And not receiving an assignment, as I stated earlier, could be detrimental to obtaining and maintaining your status in the class. In conclusion, I just think that Dr. White has so eloquently laid out a foundation that will optimize our learning experience and our overall experience. Logically, there are expectations on students' behaviors, conduct, as well as work. There are certain expectations that are unsaid. Furthermore, there are specific expectations that are also covered in our tips for providing speeches. So at this point, I like to conclude my my speech, and I would like to ask if there are any questions.
Yes.
Yes.
How many main topics should speeches cover?
You should cover at least 2 main topics and no more than 2 main topics in a proper formal speech as requested by Dr. White. Do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Can you give an example of language that should not be used in the email?
Yes. Language such as using numbers for the word for, or saying yo or what's up, street language that's not formal. Anything that you can write in MLA or APA format should be used. That type of language should be used in emails. No friend to friend or cordial informal language should be used. Is there anything else?
No.
Okay, well, I would like to thank you for your attention and your time, and you have a wonderful morning.